Hi everyone, welcome to my shop. I have a job that just came in and I thought I'd show you how a kind of a typical job goes for me. This is an interesting job. It's a molding. I don't know if you can see this. And I'm given a picture like this. So it has a drawing of the view looking down and a drawing of the view looking here at the side. So basically what this drawing tells me, and this company has also sent me a sample. So they sent me this, which represents the corner of a cabinet, and the piece they want is a molding that's going to come around here. So they sent me also a piece of this molding. So they want this molding to be in a curved form so that they can cut a quarter out of it and wrap it around here to meet this straight molding on the side. So I've done one, and so the final piece looks like this. And this will be a piece that gets divided into quarters, and one little quarter of it will then get put onto the corner of this cabinet piece. So today I'm going to just show you how I go through making it. I've made one, but the job requires two, so I'm going to show you by making the second one and showing you step by step how I'm doing it. Okay, so let's take another look at our drawing. So this is what our drawing tells us. Here's the side view right here, and here's the molding that's going to fit that side view. So I have to match this profile right here, but it'll be square to the corner here. This is the actual curve that's going to go here, that then this molding will go up to and wrap around. So that's giving me the radius of what I need the interior of that molding to be. So the way that I'm going to start is I usually do this on a faceplate. So I cut this block of wood a quarter of an inch or so bigger, just bigger than the piece I'm actually going to need. And it's just a piece of, flat plywood. And here's the center point right here. And I just make this little gadget that's a cylinder that I made on the lathe and drilled it on the lathe so I know it's centered, and drilled a hole through it that this nail fits through, and I can push this nail forward or back. So I just put that nail, and this cylinder is made to the size of the interior threads, so it's tight into the interior threads of my faceplate. So all I have to do is set this so that the point is in the center, and then I can just kind of, once it's centered, I can just hold this, drop this down onto it, and as long as I'm centered in here, and then I kind of center this, I'm not going to be exactly perfect, but I'm going to be pretty good. Alright, so I can just kind of look at the edges like this, and that's going to tell me, but this piece is big enough that if I have to, I'll just cut away some of the edge. Alright, so just kind of move it there till you get it where you want it. You could also take a compass and just draw a circle that's the size of this. I always just make it big so that I can put it on quick, and then I'll just screw it on, and then I can just cut edges away if I want. I'm just going to screw it on with these sheetrock screws. Now, usually I do not use sheetrock screws because they don't have shear strength, which means that if they catch, they can shatter. But my actual final piece is so light that I'm not worried about force on these screws. So I'm just making sure that the thickness of the screw from this thickness of my plate and my plywood, this screw will not go through the front, and I'm just going to put a bunch of them in. And then I'm not going to worry about any kind of shearing or breaking. But if you get to a heavier object, I always go zinc or steel, because you really want to make sure, safety first, that you're not going to break the screws and have any pieces whipping around your shop that you don't want whipping around your shop. Alright, so there's my piece, and I'm going to go put it on the lathe. I'm going to screw it onto the lathe, find the center point, draw a compass circle, and then take this blank that I've cut that is just a little bit bigger than my final piece, and I'm going to center it onto that circle that I've made with the lathe, because making this circle on the lathe and finding this center on the lathe is what is really going to center this piece. So let's go do that. When I come to the lathe to fit a piece on the lathe, I don't go like this and start screwing this around like this, because if you do that, you're going to hit cross thread, you might be at an angle, and especially when you unscrew it, it's so heavy, it's going to come to a point at the end of the thread where it falls down. So I hold this nice and steady like this, and I use the end wheel back here, and I turn the end wheel to thread this on, and when it's time to bring it off, I undo it, hold it, and unthread it from back here on the wheel. So my hand, this hand that's at the threaded end, is always staying steady. So I'm going to put this on till it's seated like this, and then I'm going to pull the tailstock up. The tailstock in my lathe is perfectly centered, so I know if I go like that and make that point, that is going to be the center of my piece. Now I'm going to go measure with the compass the size of my blank, and I'm going to come with the compass and figure out where that spot is and draw a circle around here. Here's the blank that I want to attach to this plate. So I'm just going to take this compass and set it to where I drew the original curve before I cut it on the bandsaw. And I'm just going to put it on here, and I'm going to make a mark. So I'm just making that mark. Now I'm going to let the lathe really do the rest, so that with the compass we might accidentally come out of the hole, or we could flip it a little bit and be out of round. But if I take this point that I want to be at, and I set this pencil right here on the tool rest, and I hold it in one place and turn this wheel, I know I'm going to have a circle, and that's going to be the circle that this is going to fit into. We have many different ways that we could mount this to this piece. If it wasn't going to show, I would just put it on and screw it from back here, and just screw it on and put it into the meat of what is going to stay at the end of my turning. But on this particular one, we don't want any marks, so then I go to something called Turner's tape. So we'll go back over to the bench and talk about Turner's tape. Turner's tape is a material or a tape that has been developed specifically for turners. It's a two-sided tape that's very thin, and it's ultra sticky. Like once I put this on, it's going to be as if the piece was glued to this. It's also, because of that, it's going to be difficult to get off. But this is what I go to when I can't have any screw lines or anything showing. So this is what I know. I know that that line represents this piece, and I'm going to glue it to that. So my choice is I could glue to this or to this. I see right away I'd like that to be at the top of my piece, so I'm going to scoop it away. So that right away tells me this is going to be the bottom. This is where I'm going to put the tape. So I put the tape everywhere. And then I just have this little chip knife that I'll kind of cut it like this, and then I'll come over here and put a piece and cut it like this, and I'll just keep working my way around. Now I don't want the tape to overhang the edges, because then I won't be able to see where my marks are on the plywood plate, so I'm just cutting in a little bit shy here. That won't be a problem. And I'm just putting it everywhere. This will assure that this is going to stick. Now my middle is going to get cut out, so this will all get cut out. I do want to put some there because I don't want the piece that when I cut out at the end to move around or fly around, although I am going to be scooping it out like a bowl kind of. But I'm just going to go like that. Put one little piece here across the tape, across the middle. The other thing I don't want to do, I don't want to overlap this tape. If I overlap it, I'm making a double thickness, like if I go like this, and now it won't be sitting flat to this plate. So I want maybe a little space between each of these. Now this is the bear about Turner's tape. It's really difficult to peel this back off. So really press down. I'm using the wooden part of my knife here to make sure I'm pressed down here. I'm not really going to be able to peel the tape off here at the corner because the more I try, the more it's going to resist me. So I just have this little kind of chip knife, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in a little bit here and I'm going to try peeling. It's really difficult. You're going to have to be patient, and you're just peeling up a little piece like this, and I'm going to hold this tape down, and I'm going to make sure I'm just taking the top off and not lifting the whole tape, and there I go. So now I can just peel this whole thing off. So peel this off here, peel this off here. So I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to do that on each one. It takes sometimes a little bit of time because this is ultra sticky, and then we'll come back and we'll clamp it on. So I've got all of the backing off of it, and it's super, super sticky. So I'm going to just be careful of it. I'm going to just get rid of this stuff that's on the corner here. All right. And now I'm going to flip this around and just kind of line up I'm not going to press down yet. I'm just going to look and really line up my marks. So I see I'm pretty much within the pencil mark. And then I'm going to just push down. Now just pushing down, look, it's already stuck. This is a really heavy faceplate. So I'm just holding this piece and it's stuck. But you don't stop there. You want to make pretend that that this tape is glue. So clamp it down and work your way around the edge. I often do this if I have a nice big overhang. I'll do it on the vise on my workbench. And my overhang is pretty small here. So I'm going to go around the edges with this clamp, and then I'm actually going to use the cone of my lathe and push the center in and use the lathe as a press for the center of this. So just work my way around little by little, making sure that it's super stuck. And then I'll put it on the lathe, mark it, and start turning it. Okay, so I know that edges are really, really stuck, and I'm going to go put it on the lathe. Okay, so I'm on the lathe, and I'm going to undo my pack. I'm going to really get it in here, and you saw it just move a little, so I'm really going to use this. I'm going to come in and really use the center. I'm going to be getting rid of the entire center of this, so I don't care about how deep my mark is, and I'm really using the power of that tailstock to put force in this direction and really clamp that. And now I'm going to just look around this edge. If I feel like anything isn't quite on, like if I see a little gap there, I'm just going to grab the clamp and just do it an extra time. Really make sure that as I go around, if I see any kind of a gap, I'm really clamping it tight onto here. So now we're going to come to the calipers. We have two kinds of calipers. These are called inside calipers, and this entire space is going to be gone. I have to turn that away from that edge to that edge. So I can set these calipers to that dimension. And when I do the inside, I'll know if I go from there to there, that's going to be the depth I want to do. I usually go a hair less. So I have a little piece of molding that I can fit that has this radius on it from the cabinet they've made. So I'm going to go less just till I get to here with these calipers, and then I'm going to very fussily do one layer at a time until the molding fits. So those are the interior calipers. Now on the exterior calipers, I can try, I can decide I can go like this and set these to the inside of where I think I'm going to go. So I'll just set these in here. Usually want to do this, I'll actually set these on a flat surface, but you want to be on a flat surface, and I'm going from that point to this point here. And this I need to really be pretty right on. And I'm going to draw it first so I can measure lines and make sure that my lines are to this point that I want to be at. And then I'm also going to have to measure the exterior. All right, I have many pairs of calipers so that I can keep different pairs set up for different things, but you don't want to get them confused. And I should say this about the calipers. I'm actually going to put these on while the piece is running. So it's very important that you round these. So I get a pair of calipers and then I grind them, the points off, and then I file them, and then I actually take sandpaper and sand them so they're really smooth. So I can actually put it on this piece while it's spinning. For this interior measurement, I'm just going to use it to figure out my width. But for my exterior here, I'm going to have to set a pair that I'll actually have to pop through. So I'm going to do these first, set this distance as exact as I can. Remember, this is what we're going for. So this piece is here, and this hollow is what I'm going to take out of here, and everything in here is going away. So the only areas I care about are the thickness from here to the bottom and the width from here to here. Everything out here, that's going away. I don't care about it. So I'm just going to go right here and get it just trued up with a parting tool right here to the size I want. And then I'm not going to spend the time and very carefully rough out this whole section because this is gone. It's really, that is the only thing I want. So that's what I'm going to concentrate on, and that's this edge around here. What I've done is I've made a pattern. So this pattern fits into this like this, so that this is what I'm going to follow. And it's basically, I'm going to put it on this surface like this until I can move it in and touch this point into here. But this is the width I need to go. So this tells me that I'm pretty close to trued up to where I want to be, but I need to, it's not, this is all coming off. So in here, I just need to make sure I'm trued up in here. So here's my drawing, and I've set a pair of calipers up to what that width is going to be, and I'm actually a hair big. I always go a hair big and then work my way down to the final destination. So that's what I have to do. Now I have my parting tool sharpened at a little bit of an angle, and that gives me a little bit more shear. So see, I'm actually using this tip, which is forward a little from this back, and it gives me this ability to kind of do this kind of little shear cut across the surface here. Okay, so I'm getting a pretty good cut here. It's actually giving me a nice kind of shearing cut because of that angle that I have on my parting tool. But I want this to fall through easily, and it's not falling through easily, so I need to keep going. So I'm almost there. If I forced it, I could make it go through, but I don't want to force it. And now might be a time for me to go back, check it against my drawing. See that, yes, I am indeed a little bit big. Come back. And now I can actually put this on while it's spinning. And it's going to kind of suck through dramatically, so I have to be prepared for that. There you go. All right, so that means I hit it. By polishing these corners of your calipers, that allows it to ride smoothly as it's spinning till it sucks through. Now, it wants to suck through, but these are called spring calipers, so those springs are allowing it to move a little bit. So I'm going to just go a hair more, because I still know I'm big. Just going to go a hair more, so it's going really easily without any resistance. Okay, good. Now I'm going to look at that line of the horizon of this line and just make sure it's a cylinder and it's not angled. Because my tool is angled, I've compensated by just kind of being like this at an angle, but visually I have to make sure that that looks nice and square. That's going to be where this part right here is going to be in there, right there. And so now I've set the calipers to my middle distance, and I've trued this up so that I know it's true. This is still out of whack, but I don't care because I'm getting rid of this. And so when I'm trying to hone in on a measurement, I just go like this. I just turn the lathe on, and I just bring my pencil like this in till I get close to my calipers. So I'm almost there, so now I'll get fussy. But that just kind of hones me in a little bit. Now this is the interior line that I'm going for, so that's this right here. So I have to think about that also as I'm nibbling away. So I'm going for the interior first. I'm going to come in here so that I can be nice and steady. And I'm going to double check this. And I'm trying to be straight across from the center point because that's where I'm going to be truer. So I'm going to say that it's somewhere right there, but as I get in here and I don't have all of this going crazy, it'll be easier to judge. I'm going to go for the thing I know. I actually have a little sample block of the interior molding, which is right here. This is the actual molding that this interior needs to go around. So I always like to choose the known quantity and go for the interior first, make sure that that's going to fit up to it. And then I can literally just hold this thickness of this edge up to here, and I'll know that that's the thickness that this needs to be. So there's no guesswork about it. So I've roughed this out, just getting some stuff out of the way. And now I'm going to move around and I'm going to get rid of the interior at least halfway. I don't need to go the whole way, but at least halfway, just so that I can see what that rim is going to be. So here's my setup. I need to get this fit in first to see where that edge is going to be. Hopefully this, remember our interior calipers is going to be that. So I'm just going to slowly work my way out and just get rid of some of this on the interior. I've made this tool, I always say I'm very happy that I've been turning for 40 years, so 40 years ago there were no gadgets, so I had to learn how to make my own tools, and I was always fabricating tools. So here's a little tool I've made. It's nothing, it's just I keep square blanks of it's just regular steel in a square, and I've just ground it so that it has a bevel here and a bevel here, so that point is sharp. And I'm just going to kind of use this edge to go in so that I can keep it flat with this edge is what I'm going to keep it flat with. And I'm just going to go in a little with this, and I've made it because it has a long, it's going to allow me to go in deeper. If I try to use my parting tool, it's great, but the width of it, as soon as I get into my thing, the width is going to actually get crammed into the curve or the radius of the piece. So I need something smaller and square that won't happen to. So I just made this. So I'm going to just take these and see where I'm at. So I'm not even inside yet. I'm angling in this way a little bit too. I don't want to go too far in that way, so I just taper in, and then I can always straighten it out later. But I just want, if I can get the measurement here at this edge, I'll know what I'm doing. Now stop and check a lot, because this is one of those, even though I always cut extra blanks, this is one of those places where you can go too far. So I'm going to put that molding in, and I can see a little space in the middle of the molding. That means I have to go just a little bit further. Make sure there's no dust here. Put this up to here. So it still needs to be a little bit bigger. So this is a fussy little thing you got to do just till you get to the place where this molding is going to look great. So it looks pretty good right there. Fits really good. There's no mark. And I'm right out here at this edge. So as I go in, you can see that's looking pretty good. All right, so I'm pretty good right there. So I'm going to just, as my guide, I'm going to set these to the place where I know they're. So here is, I'm going to come right out here. I want these to go smoothly. So I'm going to work my way in and just make sure these can fit as I go in. So I'm going to get rid of that middle first and just work my way down. Now, strategically, I have to be thinking this. I'm turning this outside. Do I want to turn the inside or the outside first? Like, what is going to affect what? You got to think it through. You can't just go for it. You have to think, what are the forces at work here? So the forces at work are that if this gets thin and I put pressure in this way, it will actually start flexing this piece, and it could change your dimension. So really this is an important dimension, but this is actually an important dimension too, because it has to match the molding that's in it. So I'm good here. I'm going to stop there and come back to the exterior. So I have a lot of mass here because I have so much to get rid of. I really want to hog down on my tool to get all of this out of here. And if I go down and this gets thinner, I might be having some flex from pushing in this direction. So I'm just going to get close to where I want to be so I can really put some pressure on it. And this will be a good time also to put the molding here and figure out the width that I want right here for this top. So if I go like this, I see that I just have a little more to take off. So I'm just going to come in here very carefully. So I'm just starting to think about that curve that I'm going to have to make, which is actually incredibly exaggerated. So I have a million miles to go. So that looks pretty good. That's the thickness of that. So I'm going to stop there. Now I knew I could true this up a little bit. So right now I'm going to just very carefully come and do my true up. I'm way away from where I need to be right here, so right now I could mark my final dimension here by putting the molding right here and going like this. So it's really great. It's awesome that they provided me with the pieces to work to, because the reality is that I could take a measurement with my calipers off of a piece of paper, and of course I'll be very close. But if it has to match something, you need the piece it's going to match. You know this from drill bits. Sometimes you use two different brand drill bits, and of course they both say they're a 1/4 inch, but you drill the hole and one is bigger than the other. So if you have a piece to fit to, it's always much better situation. So I need to come down to here. Now this is a good time to also bring our template into play and see how far away we are. So you can see I have a mile to go there in the middle, right? So I'm going to be down like this. So I have to really take a ton out right here. So I'm going to just start doing that right now. Now what I'm doing is this. I have the tool on my thigh over here, and I'm basically moving myself in a circle. So I know this is a radius in here, so it's kind of a tighter radius here in the middle. So I'm actually making my body like basically kind of pivoting on this point and making myself cut a radius so I can get a nice clean line cutting the radius. So that's what my body motion is here. If you look on the, this is almost flat on the drawing, so I'm going to come from here, and really come here, and then come around here to this flat like this. So I'm just going to stop often, really see where do I need to cut away. So you see it's all right here. Now, I'm going in the wrong direction, but I only care about the final cut. The final cut has to be smooth. So I'm lifting the grain a little, but I have more control with it. Okay, so you can see now it's going to be right from here down in here. I have to start going there. So I'll just keep going on like this until I get down to the shape. All right, so I've done the, it's not perfectly smooth. I'm going to have to do some sanding, but there's my profile. It's pretty good. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do some sanding. So to do the sanding, what I've done is I just got a piece of foam and put a curve on it. So there's a curve like this on it. And that way I can get into this area. And I'm just going to move the tool rest away, turn this on, slow it down a little bit. This piece is paint grade. It's done in poplar, so paint grade just means some wood that's going to be painted. So I got a really good molding there. So now I have to do the interior. So move my tool rest up. And now before we set our calipers. So I have those calipers set from before. And I'm just going to work my way down in here until I'm at the bottom. And when I get to the bottom, I'm actually going to cut into this piece of wood, and I'll be able to see the change in the color when I get there. And I'll just keep testing my way and using the half molding all the way down. So now we got to figure out how to get this off. I use a spatula, and if it doesn't come right away, I get a, I'm going to lock my lathe. If it doesn't start coming off right away, I'll heat this up. You'll see it's burnt right here because I often have to use a torch or a heat gun to heat it up to be able to get inside the tape. So don't try to do it all at once. And you need something as thin as a spatula so you don't make marks in your piece. But you can see it's coming off little by little. And you see how gooey it is. Look, the goo is right here. So I'm going to have to maybe wipe the back of this with alcohol or something like that. Be gentle, even though you think you're there. It's really sticky. Look at, you can see how it's sticking coming all the way off like this, these fibers. So it's really sticky. And when I take it off, I'm going to have this residue like this, and I just take Goo Gone or something like that and wipe it off with that. So it's going to be kind of like this. There's my final piece. Hopefully it matches my other piece. So, all done. I used acetone to wipe the glue off the back. They both match in all ways. And it worked out perfect. So the techniques you learn from this, making patterns and, you know, marking and cuts, can all be applied to other things. You don't just have to make moldings. The molding is just a form that's a cylinder anytime you want to make a cylinder. So go get a roll of Turner's tape and try it out. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to check out our website with our free library and also our amazing swag store. See you next time.